So this exercise has become extremely popular online because people are realizing that there's a thing called stretch-mediated hypertrophy, which basically just means that not just squeezing and lifting a heavy weight with a muscle, that heavy is a relative term, a weight that challenges you would be better to say. It is also good to lift a weight that challenges you in the stretching position of the movement. So you guys just have seen me do the preacher curl, but now I had mentioned that when we do a dumbbell curl, a lot of the time the elbow starts to pass behind us, and now we can lift the weight continuously because we're creating a position where it's easier for us to lift the weight. And at the bottom of a bicep curl with a dumbbell, when the weight is next to our side, there's no tension. So instead, by leaning back, there is constant tension in the bicep tendon at the bottom. And at the top, it's lighter here. But getting into that stretch position is where the challenge is. It's very similar to a preacher curl, but because I can use dumbbells on here and not have to go one arm at a time like I would on the preacher curl, the slight change in position, it feels very similar to the preacher curl because it is training the bicep, but it allows me to feel safer getting into the stretch position. The preacher curl, I don't actually feel very safe fully extending the elbow, whereas here, I get quite a bit closer to locking my elbow out, but not completely. So that's what you're gonna see, is just do some basic. You can do alternating, and what that'll allow you to do is to go a little bit longer because one arm's kind of resting. But I do them both in the same go. So just get nice and comfortable. And I'm not bringing my arms all the way back behind me, right? It's a bit extreme because now it's still weightless. So I bring my arms just slightly forward so there's still tension in the bicep, even at the, what I call bottom of my bicep curl. I'm just gonna squeeze the weight just like I do on all the other lifts, bring it down under control, and then just as it feels like I'm getting to the right position, firing back up, keeping the movement continuous to try and suffocate the muscle, create a crazy burn so the muscle quits, and then a ton of blood flows in response to that burn, to that suffocation. So I did that. I'm going to grab a much lighter weight, extend the effort, and just because it's lighter doesn't mean you disrespect the weight. You still control it. All right, that was great. So veins are sticking out, just give it a couple seconds and that numb sensation will become a swollen sensation. Like the arms, the muscles feel hard as they can get for a muscle, right? They're not made out of rock. But just being in a relaxed position, stretched, it's firm. Usually, like an untrained muscle, nice and jello-y, right? This is like raw meat. Over here, this feels like a well-done steak. Very, very different. I guess it'd be more similar because this bicep stretched. It's gonna have tension on it, so quad stretched. Yeah, this just still feels a lot tighter. So there we go. And I got one more bicep exercise to work on my biceps in another way. Very similar because it's still the bicep, it's still the muscle that bends the elbow, but just a little bit different.